Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I am so happy to have you here today, and before we get started, make sure that you're signed up for my free email newsletter over at CorinneBlackstone.com. I share lots of fun stuff there, so you don't want to miss out. Now in today's video, we're going to do something really fun. We're going to do one of the 3D stained glass card projects. But we're going to add a little bit of a twist to it by using some holographic overlay on our cardstock to create this and make it super fun and sparkly. What's great about these is you can use them for a lot of different things, including card making, but they also make really pretty decor pieces. You can cut them smaller and make them really pretty magnets. So there's so much that you can do, but I'm going to show you how to set it up, how to get it cut out, how to make it sparkle, and how to assemble. So let's go ahead and get started. Whatever we would do, we do it just for fun. I'm going to show you how to make these really cool stained glass cards, and these can be made for any occasion. We're going to be using birds and bugs here. I got this from Design Bundles. I will link it below. What I did was clicked on download files, and then I'm going to click right here where it says birds and bugs bundle zip. Now it's going to open up a folder and ask me where I want to save this. So I'm going to save it into my CRICUT folder. And then I'm going to save it into my print then cut folder and simply just click save. Now this is a zipped folder, so we'll need to open that to extract the files that we want to use. So all you simply need to do is wait for your file folder to open and then click extract all. Once you've done that, you can just click extract and it will open up your file so that you can easily find the images that we want to use. Now this is a pretty big folder full of stuff, so it's going to take a second. Once that's opened, you can go ahead and close the extracted folder. And then I like to open the folder and kind of find which one I wanted to use. I'm going to use this number 14, which is the cardinal. So we're going to upload that into Design Space. Over in Design Space, we're going to click upload and then we'll click upload image. Now you can browse through your folder, or I just like to keep mine open and drag and drop my file over into my design. Now I'm kind of debating, I actually like 15, but I think let's go with 14. I like that you can see more of the bird. Now this might take a minute because again, these are pretty high quality images. I'm going to choose complex and click continue. And then from this step, we don't have to do anything. There's no background removal. Nothing like that, but again, it might take a minute for it to load because this is going to be a very large file. Once it's loaded, click apply and continue. Now again, this part might take another minute because Design Space is a little bit slow when the files are really high quality. We want to make sure that we're saving this print then cut image, which is on the right hand side, and then click upload. Now again, another step that might take just slightly longer because our image is good. Once it's in your recently uploaded, select the image and click add to canvas. Now this is going to open absolutely huge. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to size this down. You can see that currently it's 37 inches wide. We're just going to size it down to like 8 inches wide just so we can see it a little bit better. Now you'll note that this is a perfect square 8 by 8, and that makes it really easy to make these designs work and look really, really cool. Now that I have the original image here, and we will make it a little bit smaller, but I like to work on a bigger scale and then size it down to fit the print and cut area. Just makes it a little easier for me to see and hopefully for you guys too. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my image. Now I want to duplicate him and I want to change his size. So we're going to try going like an inch smaller on all sides and seeing how that looks with our design. I think about an inch is going to look really, really good. So then all I want to do is I'm going to duplicate him again and I'm just going to change him another inch smaller, and then all you have to do is kind of put them all together. So that is one option. Now I like the way that looks. It's kind of cool, kind of trippy, but there are other options to doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete those two. Then what you can do is duplicate him, and I want to duplicate him twice so that I have 3 of the exact same sized images. I'm going to slide this one out of the way. Then what I want to do is take a shape. I'm going to take a square and I'm going to make that square the 7-inch square that I wanted to use originally. I'm going to select one of the designs and the square. I'm going to align them and center them, and then I'm going to use our slice option. Now, like I said, there's many ways to do this. There's no right or wrong way. You do the way that you like the look the best. This is just one option to do that. So then we're going to take a square again. So all you got to do is go to shapes, grab a square, and we're going to make this the 6-inch square. We're going to take one of the images, the full image. I'm going to go ahead and select both the image and the square, center align those again, and again, choose slice, and then I just delete the parts that I don't want. So I just don't want the gray square, and then I don't want the outline. Now we can line them up again, and you'll see that for this one, it's going to look just a little bit different, and it won't look like any different at all, because what I'm going to do is align them really quick and show you. Notice that you can't see any difference between these. There's a reason for that. It's because they're all cut from the same design using the same sizing. So it's really up to you. You're going to get that 3D effect by using some spacers with some foam dots, foam tape, whatever you got, to create the size difference. That way you can really see like the stacked version. You can also always add a frame around each frame if you want to, like a little black square, and I'll show you how to do that if that's something you'd like to do as well. All you need to do is, again, open up your shapes, open up your square. I'm going to start with the 6-inch square, so I'm going to make my square 6. I'm going to duplicate my square, and then I'm going to make that square 5.75. I'm going to take both of my gray squares. I'm going to select both. I'm going to align, center them, and again, I'm going to slice. Now this time I should be left with a very, very thin outside area, and that right here can be the frame for our 6-inch piece. So you can do this for each of your pieces if you want to. It's truly up to you. I do think this gives it kind of a cool dimension, so I'm going to grab these, both of those items, I'll align them and center them, and it's just going to give you a little more definition between the different shapes. So I'll go ahead and do the 7-inch one next. So again, all I'm going to do is shapes, go with the square. I'm going to change this to 7. I'm going to duplicate him. I'm going to change this square to 6.75. You can make your frame as skinny, as wide, whatever you want to do with it as you want. Align them and center them, and then I'm going to slice. That's going to end up giving me the little frame that I need again for my slightly larger one. And then we can do the last one for the 8-inch one. We'll do the same way. Like I said, there's a lot of ways to do these cards. You do what you like. So I'm going to make my 8-inch square. I'm going to duplicate that 8-inch square. I'm going to change him to 7.75. I'm going to take the 2 squares. I'm going to align them, center them, and then slice them. And again, just deleting the parts that I don't want. Now we are going to resize everything down so that we can get them to where we need them to be. So what I'm going to do here is select everything. I'm going to align, and I'm just going to center. And now you can see we have that definition around each of our pieces. Now I'm going to tell you a quick little secret, because I personally don't want to have to cut those little tiny squares. So I'm going to show you the way I'm going to do it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I want to change each of these to black, because I think the black is going to look a little bit better. And so I'm just changing them all to the plain color black. And I just want to make sure everything is black. Okay, we're good. Then all I want to do is I want to select each of my pieces, and I'm going to flatten them together. So I have my back one, and all I'm going to do is choose flatten. And that's going to tell Design Space that I want to cut that all as one piece. I don't want to cut it around it. I just want that little frame to be part of my image. So what I'm going to do is do that to each of my pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and select the piece and the frame and click flatten. And I'll just move that one out of the way. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the last one and choose flatten. Now again, you can do it however you want. It's truly up to you. There's no right or wrong way. This is all how you want to do it. I'm going to align them again just so I can get a good look. I think that looks really, really cool. Now keep in mind, we do need to size this down because this is a little bit too big for our print and cut area. I have the A4 paper selected, so let's see how big it claims we can print. So this says we just need to go 8.3 inches by 11.7, but you'll note that we're kind of like, you'll note here that it says that it can go 7.19 by 7.19. And honestly, I'm going to do a card, so I think like 6 inches for a card is about where I want to go anyways. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that everything is selected, and then I just want to size everything down, and I'm going to click 6 and size everything down. Now you want to make sure everything's selected, that way everything sizes at the same time. Now from here, we're ready to print this out, ready to cut it, but always make sure you save your project. I'm going to save this as Cardinal Card and click Save. Now what's great about this is it's super easy to work with this, and this is a pretty simple project. It only took us a couple minutes to add the frames and everything just to make it a little more fun. Now all I'm going to do is click Make It so we can see how it's going to print out. Now it is going to print the big one by itself. There really isn't enough room, but it will print the 2 smaller ones together on a sheet, so I think that's fine. Now we're going to be just printing these on some regular cardstock, and then I am going to add a glitter laminate just because I think it's fun, and I think it'll be a great way to make these pop just a little bit more. Now I'm going to show you how to print these really quick. It's super duper easy. All we need to do is click Continue and then Send to Printer with this green button right here. Now it's really important that you make sure you're going to get the best print quality you can by using this technique. So first I'm going to make sure my right printer is selected, and I'm using an ET2720, and then I want to turn on the Use System dialog, and I also want to leave the bleed on. If I turn the bleed off, what it's going to do is it's going to not push that black color out a little bit of like further out from the edges of my paper, which could leave us with some white space, and we really don't want that. So now I'm going to click Print. It's not going to send it to your printer right now. What it's going to do is bring up our printer preferences. These printer preferences are going to allow us to get a really good quality print. That way everything looks super nice, professional, bright, and vibrant. Now you want to make sure that you have your correct printer selected again using my inkjet printer. I'm going to click Preferences, and then I'm going to make sure that my paper type is changed to Premium Presentation Paper Matte. I find that gives me a really good color quality and looks really nice. I'm going to change my quality from standard to high. I'm going to do one more change. I'm going to go under More Options, and I'm going to turn off my high-speed print. Now this might also be bidirectional print on your printer, so just keep in mind that yours might be worded different, but it's the same thing. From here, all we have to do is click OK and click Print. Now, we're going to make these a little bit extra special because we are going to add some holographic glitter laminate over them. Got a couple sheets. I should only need like 2 sheets tops for this, but we're going to just add some fun because why not, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to cut my sheet so that it fits within the lines of my registration marks. Now, I don't tend to have a problem if I cover my registration marks, but I know a lot of people do. So I just want to show you that I'm going to go ahead and cut them so they fit within the marks, but you want to make sure that it's going to cover your design. So I'm just cutting, and I can see through this. I don't know if you guys can, yeah, you can tell through in the video that I can see through this pretty well. So I'm just going to cut a little notch right there, and then I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to cut it down this way. Now you do want to make sure that it's going to cover the entirety of your design. You don't want to kind of mess with that. Now I'm going to slide these ones over really quick, but I wanted to show you, I am going to reprint this one, but you can see here where it cut off the bottom. It's because I used 8.5 by 11 paper when I told it I had A4. So I am going to fix this one, but I did want to show you at least putting the laminate on one, and then we're going to do the laminate the same on the other one once I reprint. So don't worry, I'll reprint it. It's not a big deal. Nobody's perfect. But I did want to show you that just so you're aware that sometimes that can happen. So what I do is I peel just a little bit back on my laminate, and then I'm going to push that down. And now you're going to want a squeegee. You're going to want to use one of the soft bendy ones, not the hard CRICUT one. And what I'm going to do, peel this back just a little bit more because it's a little uneven, so it's kind of making me crazy. And what I'm going to do is take the top of the paper and the top of the design on the paper and the top of our laminate and line those up. Now it is going to be just slightly larger than the laminate, and that's okay. or the laminate's gonna be slightly larger than the picture. That's what we want. Then what I'm gonna do is take my squeegee, and I wanna get this area pressed down really well first. Then I'm very gently going along this edge, and as I'm pushing on the edge, it's going to push this paper back, and it's gonna cover my hand, so I do apologize, but all I'm doing is pushing the paper along with my squeegee very, very gently, and that way it's gonna eliminate any bubbling or anything like that that may occur. Plus it's going to allow our laminate to lay down super nice, really evenly. It's gonna have a nice finish on it, and there we go. Now your paper might curl a little bit, don't worry. Once we cut it, it won't be a big deal. It'll sit flatter. But we're just gonna go ahead and press that down. And now look at how really gorgeous this design is. It's so sparkly and so pretty. So I wanted to show you at least putting it on one. I'm gonna do the same thing for this one once I reprint it, because like I said, mistakes happen. It's not a big deal. But we'll go ahead and we're gonna reprint this one, and then we will get ready to cut all 3 pieces out. And then I'm gonna show you how to layer them with some foam squares to make them look really gorgeous. We're ready to cut these out. So it's gonna go from biggest to smallest. You wanna make sure that you load these on your mat the way they face in Design Space. So for me right now, it's backwards. I've got the laminate down, and I'm gonna cut these on the heavy cardstock setting, because with that laminate, it does make these pretty thick, and that seems to be the best cut setting for me, but you'll wanna do some test cuts to see what works best for the materials that you're using. Before I unload, I am gonna just double check the cut, make sure that it cut through. This is something I do anytime I do any kind of print and cut, because sometimes it doesn't, like it didn't on this one, which actually is great because I can show you how you can help work with that and fix it. So when that happens, make sure that you do not unload your machine. All you wanna do is hit the CRICUT logo button again, and it's going to cut it again on those exact same lines. If you unload it, the lines will be slightly off and it won't cut in the same area, meaning that it will be a harder item to cut all the way through. Now that it's cut that second time, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that corner up again, and now you'll see that it cut through really well. I'll peel this off just so you can get a really good look. So that is what we're going to do. We're just gonna load each of these and cut them through twice just to make sure. I'm gonna go ahead and unload my mat. Now I don't care if this part curls because I'm gonna throw this away, but for the card portion, I'm gonna flip my mat upside down and I'm gonna bend it back, and I'm gonna hold my cardstock down. And now you see that it's only curled because of the laminate, and it will uncurl once it sits for a little bit. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of them. And like I said, we'll just cut everybody twice, no big deal. So let's go ahead and get everything cut out, and then I'll show you how to put it all together. We're ready to assemble the card. So what I have are these are removable mounting squares, but you can use the permanent ones if you want. This was just what I had on hand. They're by Scotch. They're really inexpensive. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the 2 smaller cards. That would be the middle one and then the smallest one. And I'm just gonna put a foam square on each corner. Now these are double-sided adhesive, and they're a little bit thicker than some of the other adhesive squares I've used. I wanted something a little heavier, but if you want them even thicker, you can definitely double them up. But what I'm just doing, and they don't have to be perfect in the corners, they just need to be in the corners. And I'm just gonna put them in the corner. And then the first thing I'm gonna do before I even peel off the adhesive on the back, I just wanna set it down onto the other page, so the bigger one, just to see if I like how far up it sits, because I think I do potentially want to give it a little more height. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and peel off the adhesive backing on each of my squares, and then I'm going to put another square on top. Like I said, totally optional. This is not something that you have to do, but if you want to give it a little bit more depth, this is an option to do that, or if you can find a thicker, heavier foam square. We didn't have a lot of options where we were shopping, so I had to go kind of with what I could find. So this is just you know, what they had. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just double check and make sure that that's what I like. I like that much better. It's a little hard to show on camera, but it is sitting about away from the card a bit. Now these are still a little bit like bent from putting the laminate on, but they'll flatten out. I've done this a couple times. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off of these ones here. And that's going to expose the adhesive. This one apparently just wants to be a pain and not come off. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to grab the corner over here. Ooh, maybe. All right. Once you've got all those off, we can put this down. Now, first things first, make sure it's facing the right way. And then I'm going to get as close to perfect as I can here, getting everything lined up. I want this really centered. I want all the pieces parts to be lined up. So I'm just going to try to line everything up. And standing over the card can help a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. All right, and then just press those corners down. Now we're going to do that with this one as well. I'm going to go ahead and add the adhesive squares. And again, I'm going to do 2 of them in each corner. That way it sits up a little bit higher. I just like the look. You do what you do. Ooh, that was a little too close to the edge. That's the bonus to the removable ones though. They're easy to move if you accidentally like stick them too close to the edge. All right, so let me get the rest of the adhesive covers off. I'm going to go ahead and peel the rest of these off, put the next set on, line this up, and show you what it looks like. The finished card is all set. I think it came out really cool. Now what's fun about this is you could give this as a card, you could put this in a frame, do lots of stuff with it. I love adding that laminate. It really makes it shine, so glittery. But I'm going to give you a little side view so that you can see a little bit better that 3D stacked look, and then you can see where we added those edges. The edges are of course optional. You don't have to do that. You could do it without them, but I just think adding them really gives it a little bit more depth and dimension. And then I'll just show you so you can see the foam is right there. This one dips a little in the middle, so I do think I would have preferred to put a foam piece in the center, but I can absolutely add that because these are removable, so I'll be able to peel these off and then just restick them right back down since it is dipping a little more than I would have liked. But I really think this was fun. It's really easy. You can have a lot of fun with these. You can actually glue these to the front of a greeting card. Like I said, you could put these on a frame. You could just display them as is. It's really just a lot of options, and there's tons of different designs. I'll link everything that we used to create this down below, including the design. And if you have any questions, by all means, please leave those in the comments down below. I'm always happy to answer them for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And as always, happy crafting.